Hi everyone, my name is Natalia Ramirez. Today I'm going to be talking about Eating the Rainbow, illustrated by Star Bright Books. A little summary about the book that I've noticed is Eating the Rainbow is more of an educational book that introduces colorful fruits and vegetables and dairy to promote healthy eating options for young audiences. So the book shows more about vegetables and dairy products, but they're more categorized in the same color, starting from red, working down the rainbow. Some descriptions of the visuals that I've noticed is that this book is a diverse book with kids all around the world. And even a spoiler, there's even twins in this book. It promotes twins. So I think this is a really good thing in a children's book because when you're reading this to children, kids may even see that, hey, that kid or person looks just like me. So they're seeing in a book that they have read. So there's boys and girls in here, from African Americans, whites, Asians, Hispanic. There's all different kinds of kids in here in this book. Another thing that I realized about the descriptions in this book is the pictures of the kids. So I noticed that as they're eating the fruit, they're holding it, they are actually enjoying it. None of them don't have any sadness or different expressions of anger or mad. They're all interested in the fruit. So I think that's really going to promote the kids to see that if they like it and they're enjoying it, then I will enjoy it as well. And one thing that definitely stood out to me in the visuals is that the background matches the color of the fruits. And with that, and having as a contrast as like a white background, it definitely brightens the fruit and it makes it look realistic. So in this book, there's no drawings of the fruits, that's actual pictures being taken of a real life fruit. So it emphasizes the texture of it. So it looks very similar to what you would see like in a grocery store. Another thing that I've noticed is the pattern. So that in the photos of the children and of the fruits, there is a white background. I'm not sure if they do it so that the fruit and the person contrasts them because instead of color, white makes them stand out in there. So I thought that was really cool about the descriptions. Another thing that I've noticed, not about the pictures, but about the font. It's all capitalized in the same font throughout the book. There's all capitals in the fruits. So I thought that was really interesting. And another thing that I've noticed is that the color matches the word of the color. So if the color is red, then the font of it is red. And if the word is yellow, then the color of it is yellow. So it helps them connect to see that the word also matches the color of the fruit. So I thought that was interesting. Some of the genres that the book falls into that I've noticed is that there was four. So one is that as I was examining and observing this book, it's more of a board book. Some of us may not know what that is. I didn't know at first, but I've noticed that with this book, it fit into the genre. So it's designed of thick cardboard, so it is durable for the safety of the toddlers and the babies, so that if they cause any damage, it won't hurt as much because they aren't able to tear or they can't really chew through it. So I think that's just for safety precautions since they really are just starting to handle out books. And with these board books, all of them have like dense corners, so they're not pointy. They're kind of like rounded out just so that they don't get poked by the corner or easily to tear it. So I thought that was really interesting. Another thing that I've noticed in the genre is that it's more of an educational slash nutrition book. I've said that in the plot that this is more of a nutritional book because the main theme is that it's promoting healthy eating habits. It includes many different fruits, vegetables, and even dairy that they can see and consume on a daily basis. A third thing that I've noticed is that this is more of a picture book. So there's a lot of pictures. And I think with this book becomes more engaging because they can visually see what an apple looks like, what a carrot looks like, what a broccoli looks like. So although that in the pictures, it can also help them paint stories of the fruits because this book is more informational. But I feel like as the book continues on, they can kind of create the little stories in their mind on where they can see, well, what fruit goes next, what color goes next. So I think it just really paints that picture and helps them think, oh, if they talked about red, what color goes next in the rainbow? And another thing that I've noticed in the genre is that this is considered a nonfiction book because it gives the younger adults, like toddlers and babies, factual information about the foods that we eat. So it gives them like that these ones are red, that these fruits and vegetables are orange, green. So it's true colors that you can see in the fruits. One quote that I really did enjoy in this book is, what which foods and colors can you name? I thought this really was interesting to me and stood out to me because it allowed them to think at the end of the book, well, what other colors and fruits can you name? Because in the book they gave some examples, but it helps them further understand the book and the reading, that they have noticed that some kids may pinpoint out fruits that they didn't say in the book. And I think that's really interesting because it helps them creatively think about that of the book. Because I noticed that this book is just more one ended message, is just one short sentence instead of full length sentences. This is the full length sentence that I've noticed in the book. So I thought that was really interesting how they ended off with the question instead. Some strengths and weaknesses that I've noticed in this book is I've noticed that there is more strengths. So it more focused on the cognitive side. So in the number sense, so that in this book they count how many colors are in the rainbow, how many fruits in total that there was from the start of the rainbow to the end of the rainbow, so they can help with their number sense. Another thing that I've noticed that it can also question, because at the end of the book it gave them a question. So even throughout the book or even towards the end to answer the question, it helps them think and about what other fruits are there that they didn't say in the book that were red or that were green or that were yellow. So it's going to help them think. Another thing that I saw that this book can have is symbolic play, because I think that as they read this book, they are going to remember memories and even want to play using fruit. Like, oh, remember that book that talked about apples and oranges? When they're playing grocery store, they're going to remember, because when they do go to grocery stores or anywhere that they see fruits and vegetables, they're going to remember. I remember reading that book about apples, fruits. Oh, I remember reading and seeing lychees were in that book, but I never knew what they were. So when they play with amongst other friends, they can also remember all the different kinds of fruits. One other thing that I saw that could be both a strength and a weakness is the verbal expressions of emotions. Towards this book, it's more informational, but I feel as the pictures are being shown, some may have expressions or emotions towards those fruits, because some may have interest and like them. Some might be like, ooh, I want to try that. Or some might be like, ew, yucky, I don't like. So it helps them create that sense of emotion, how they feel about towards that fruit, but through pictures. And as for the weakness, I didn't really find any weaknesses. I just think that this book didn't go over more of the emotional and social side of this this. So I think that they kind of stood away from not really going over the concept of friendship. I don't see how this book can really go over friendship. I think this book was just more informational about the nutritional categories that there are in fruits and how they can be placed by being engaging and fun through learning it through the rainbow. So, how could your book be used in a classroom setting? So, through the taste and touch activity, I think this activity could really help allow young children to explore the world around them through food. So, this would require more of a hands on activity. I think hands on activities are really good because they can be engaging and fun, but while learning. So the main goal of my activity is to help explore the texture and taste of different fruits, vegetables, and dairy. So for this, in any small bags or plates, you can let them feel the texture. It's on how you choose to do it. So you can allow them to touch it first, and then as they have touched it, you can let them taste with small pieces of each of the fruit vegetables. To get enough time to feel all of the colors of the rainbow, I just thought of with this activity to split the class. So half of the class would do the first colors of the rainbows, the half of the other class would do the other half of the rainbow colors. So with this, the taste and touch activity can be seen as a solo activity at first, so where each child can feel and taste the different fruits, but it can also be leading to a discussion part. So one way that they can do is through open end discussions. So with this on a whiteboard, you can ask the questions like, how does the food feel? Is it sticky, crunchy, chewy, or how does it taste? Sweet, salty, and bitter. So when you collaborate and you allow them to pick up their hands and you write it on a whiteboard, you can write down ones that are similar, that they've said, some that are repetitive, some that are different. So it allows them to see that what others feel and taste and say that some can feel the same about that. Another thing that they can do instead, if you don't feel like doing that, with an open-end discussion, you could do like a close with a group discussion just alone in their tables. So you can put one single bowl of all different colors of the rainbow in one and have them separate all the fruits from the start of the rainbow from red all the way to the end of the rainbow. So they're working together and collaborating together as a group. So the examples that I would use for the fruits is like apples, pumpkins, pineapples, peaches, cabbage, radish, coconut, and raisins, because each of them offer different taste and texture. Like for instance, a coconut. On the outside of the coconut, it's a little bit hairy, but in the inside, it's like silky, watery, and chalky sometimes. With a pineapple, if it's a whole, that they're on more of the edgy, pokier side, and even the inside of the fruit. Some pineapple has a hard piece in it when you bite it, so they just try to bite around the soft parts of it. Another thing was that the peas, like on how they look, the texture, some of it can be like bumpy. They're into little ball shapes. So I thought that was really interesting that they can do. So for this activity, the different color plate materials that you will need for this is Ziploc bags, plates, and a whiteboard. You can do it on a piece of paper, on a projector, but it's up to you. But I think a whiteboard can really help everyone focus on the whiteboard since it is a little bit bigger. Another thing that you will need is different colors of fruits, vegetables, or dairy of the rainbow. So make sure you get some that are from red through the end of the rainbow. But I did notice that a key factor in my activity is that you definitely will have to check for allergies, just because some may have allergies due to specific fruits, vegetables, or dairy, or some might be lactose intolerant for dairy. So if you can find any substitutions for that, that would be really great. That's the only side effect about that. But I think this activity is really engaging. I think it could be fun, but while they can learn as well. The concepts of learning, not just learning the rainbow, but also the different kinds of fruits that are in the color of the rainbow. And it even might promote them to eat those kind of fruits and vegetables at home. So thank you for watching my presentation.